Radio V. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
I'm a relationship hacker.
Run up and get touched up, suicide. And all of y'all know my style. I excel, then prevail. Run up and get touched up, suicide, that's it. And all of y'all know my style. I excel, then prevail.
Ladies and gentlemen, the So What Morning Show back in the building. Let me explain something to y'all real quick. I'm going to keep pushing the envelope. What is the purpose of pushing the envelope? Introducing new ideas, new concepts. In my new book, The Relationship Dismount, I say your beliefs must practice yoga. In other words, your belief must be flexible if you want to grow, if you want to learn. At the end of the day, none of us are experts in the truth, right? The truth is always unfolding and revealing itself. But the highest form of intelligence is to be able to challenge what we think we know to be true. And it's important for us to do that on a regular. Otherwise, our belief systems become calcified, and then we become inflexible in what we will take in, right? And we start to look for confirmations that are in alignment with our calcified beliefs. So today's topic is going to stress you. It's going to challenge you. But isn't that what you tune in for every week anyway? Let's get challenged today. I'm going to go at something that you believe dearly. I got to. We got a lot of feedback from Corey Holcomb's last show. Right? We got a lot of it. And I felt it's important for us to revisit this topic. Before I get to the topic, you got to support black businesses. We Juice, they come here every week and just drop off juices for the team. Listen, this is May. The month of May is $5 juice special. If you go to the We Juice website, wejuice.com, type in your code, Zoe Williams, you're going to get supported by only paying $5 for the juice. Please support this brother, black-owned business. Please get at him. Show him your love. Show him what you do, how you support, and we would appreciate that. Also, I need you to get over there real quick. Arise Hospitality, right? The Black Office Max. A lot of people have been supporting this business, and I appreciate you for doing that. Please continue to support arisehospitality.com. Again, they can give you anything Staples or Office Max can get you. Furniture, everything, paper clips, whatever it is you do. Also, there is a 20% discount coming from Elephant, the clothing line. I've been urging you guys to support this brother, and you guys are finally starting to come around to this brother's stuff. It's very nice. It's not cheap. It's not, the quality of it is high end. It's not corny. It's not stupid. Please support these brothers. 20% discount for Zo What listeners, right? Stuff is really high end. You got people celebrities. James Harden was wearing it. I've seen a lot of celebrities in it. You know, Angela Simmons wearing it, right? These guys are dope. Go support them. If you like polo, these brothers, black owned, out of New York, Elephant, 20% Zowat listeners discount. Also, especially for today's topic, go to cdbaby.com and get the God Class Volume 1. I urge you to do this right now. Get the digital download of this at cdbaby.com. The God Class Volume 1, Street Scholar. This is my CD where I'm doing a lecture on religion. It's important that you get that CD, especially in context of today's show. Also, don't forget about Truth. Truth is my homeboy, man. Go get that album that has Chocolate, where he's talking about the skin color, you know, colorism in the African American community. He's PTSD. That PTSD was a banger. Boycott Christmas, marching orders. Yo, go support that Truth album. I'd appreciate it. Also, if you go to my website, iamzowilliams.com, on a serious note, and I've been dealing with a lot of people lately, go check out my relationship coaching. Like, all joking aside, this is what we do. This is what I do. Go to iamzowilliams.com and fill out the questionnaire and set up a schedule or set up a session with me and really see what it is I do on a one-on-one basis, and you'll see how we get down. Also, that website was designed by another black-owned company, Easy Boy Web. If you have website desires or aspirations, hey, get over to Easy Boy Web. Black-owned business. Come on, man. Support them. They'll support you with incredible stuff. Incredible work. You see my website. They'll do the same thing. If you have e-commerce, website needs, social media needs, those are the guys to go get at. Also, Ramo Mart. Please support Ramo Mart. He's coming out with the Persian line. That's going to be crazy, too. Babylonians and, the Sumerian line. I mean, he was in the Egypt line. Now he's in another line. And the products from the Sumerian line is incredible, too. So continue to support ramomart.com. Man, today's show is going to be so crazy right now. I got Veronica Conway on the line. I want to speak to her real quick, too. She has something very important. Let's see what she got. Talk to us, VC. Veronica? VC? Veronica Conway. So this is what we'll do. We'll come back to VC. But let me just say this, too. This is how we do our thing. I'm telling you, the Relationship Dismount book is very close. In about 2 days, I'm sending it to the printer. Well, not the printer. The people who format it. They're going to, pick the font and they're going to format it. And once we get that back in a couple of days, then we send it to the printer. And then within 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have the whole shipment of books. But not only physical books, we're also going to have the digital downloads, the ebooks. It's going to be on Amazon. It's going to be on Kindle. So it's coming. And when I tell you, man, I'm so pleased. For the 319 people who donated to make this thing possible, we have everyone's name in the book. We put everybody's name who donated in the book. So check on my website, iamzowilliams.com. Within a day or so, we're going to have a pre-order link for all those who want to pre-order the book. We're going to have that link up. It's the coldest relationship book ever. It's not just a breakup book. It's more than that. It's a relationship book. It's incredible, dude. I'm really proud of the work that not only I did, but my team did. It's dope. We got Veronica. VC, holler at me.
Hey, thanks. So I just wanted to support my girl. My girl has a sister who was murdered down in Texas. And the result of that, they got the 911 laws changed because 911 kind of failed to respond to this scenario. But my girl's her sister's murder trial starts today. And I would love it if people would go and support her. It's deannasvoice.com, DeannasVoice.org/Deanna's-story. So it's deannasvoice.org/Deanna's-story. And it's a really profound story. I think it's a really important issue affecting our people.
Got it. Got it. Awesome stuff. Listen, I need you guys to continue to support what we're trying to do here regarding the relationship roundtable tour. If you want to donate and support that, I mean, we had an Indiegogo campaign about a month or so ago. People are asking me to put up another one. But in the meantime, I can only do what we have available to us right now, and that is the PayPal account. For anybody who wants to donate and support the Relationship Dismount Book Tour, and this is about it coming to your city. We're doing Houston. I had a meeting with a sister over the weekend. I think it was Friday. She's from Houston. She's helping us pull it together. No, leave it up. Leave it up. She's from Houston. She's helping us pull it together in terms of venue. We're coming to Houston, and we're going to do an incredible relationship roundtable centered around the Relationship Dismount book. How to stick the landing when leaving a traumatic relationship. When I tell you it's a cold work, man, if you want to support, get there right now. Go to paypal.com, select send money, and send all donations to zowhatorders@gmail.com. Please continue to support. Please continue to support. And I'm going to tell you right now. Oh, by the way, go get Just Listen, Dr. Mark Goulston's book. Please support Dr. Mark Goulston. Also get Bobby's book, Real Men Don't Play. I think I've supported everything right here, right? Oh, by the way, go get blackmastery.com, Veronica Conway's revolutionary neuro-linguistic programming that undoes Willie Lynch and negative thoughts, narrated by Iyanla Vanzant. It's an incredible piece, too. Go get all of these things. Support them right now. When we come back, another heater. When I tell you this is a heater, man, we're not playing today. We're going to see how diligent you are in terms of having your thoughts stretched. We'll be back at 2.2 Zo What Morning Shows on T-Radio V. That's radiontv.com. Get at us. We'll be back in 2.
By knowing these three cycles and only these three fundamental cycles, you will understand everything that's about to come that I'm going to show you. So this is quite easy to understand. The day obviously is ruled by the god of day, that's the sun, as Plato said. We need a third thing in order for our sense of sight to be activated. They can't be activated without the sun. All the other senses don't need the sun. They don't need a third thing, was Plato's argument to Socrates. So this god of day, the sun, day comes from the word dies, God, in Latin. Year also comes from the name of the sun. Do you know how? You see the word year there? Well, it comes from the word yes, which comes from the word yes, which is the sun. Yes, it does. Yes. Yahweh, Jehovah. But Jesus is specifically, that's the name of the sun. Just like the moon is called Luna. It's funny how people have not been taught to name the sun.
Astrology which appears to be the basis of many religions, especially the Judeo-Christian beliefs, which are merely offshoots from the earlier Semitic religions, has been labeled as paganism or as being of the devil or whatever, while the leaders at the top of the consortium's hierarchy know and willfully keep the esoteric secrets from the masses and have done so for a long, long time. What if the people knew what they really were and what their purpose was here in this lifetime? Then there could be no more control, no more church power over the minds of the flock, or perhaps herd would be a better fitting word.
There's Helios. That's the Egyptians called Helios Atum. We call it atom. Same word, because it is an atom. An atom has an electric light core, and then it has magnetic bodies called electrons floating around.
I'm Laura Samoza.
I'm Sterling Gardner.
And we are Between the Sheets every Monday here, 3 p.m., tradiov.com.
T-Radio V.
That's right, it's T-Radio V, Radio in TV. What is that face?
He wants to see our hands.
That's Radio in TV. Wah, 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 wah.
We're not a couple.
Hey, my fellow thoughters out there. I'm Charles Shaughnessy. Check out my new show, Here's a Thought, with Charles Shaughnessy, August the 7th, 3 p.m. PST, right here on T-Radio V. Now, you know I have a lot to say, but I want to hear what you have to say. So tune in, grab your phones, call me, tweet me, email me in the studio, and let's get this conversation going. Here's a Thought, starting August the 7th, 3 p.m. PST, right here on T-Radio V. That's radio in TV.
T-Radio V. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
Is a white guy like me co-hosting a black radio show. I think toxic relationships cause you to take poor care of yourself. That if you can recognize danger, if you can pause, if you can take some breaths, refocus, and engage, you might be able to dodge a bullet that you're going to send or coming towards you. One of the things that men don't get is that often women need to vent first to clear their mind. Oh, back again, back at the Zowat Morning Show. You know, I am the master of connecting dots that nobody can understand how I connect them. We're going to show a little video of something that just went up, and it's called "What Your Teenager Who Won't Talk to You Wants You to Know." So let's just play that, and then you can cut it off when it segues into my pitch for it. But just play the beginning of it. This is what your teenager who won't talk to you wants you to know. One of the reasons I'm quiet around you, one of the reasons I don't tell you what's going on, one of the reasons I don't tell you how I feel is I have little to no confidence that you can help me feel better. And that's because as soon as I start to open up about something and you ask me how I'm feeling, you cut me off and you interrupt and you give me solutions that won't work for me. They'll work for you. I can't do it your way. I have to do it my way, and I don't know what my way is. And so what I really need is for you to try to find out and help me understand who I am, and you can't do that by giving me advice and solutions that I just don't want. What I really need from you is to find out what's going on inside me. I want you to be interested in pulling out how I feel, because I just feel alone with it. I feel alone with it, and I can't make how bad it feels go away. If you like this and you want to see more and hear more, please support my page. So what's the connection between that and today's topic? Well, that was a conversation catalyst. If you share that with a teenager and say, is this how you feel? They might open up. Or if you're that teenager, share it with your parents and say, this is what I've been trying to tell you. Here's the connection. I think bad moods are built upon fear, pain, and anger. And what religion offers you is, we'll understand you. You can pour all your fears and anger and frustration into us, and we will absorb it all. And so I think religion is a way to help you feel less alone when you're feeling alone in your life. The problem is a lot of religions do a bait and switch after that. They after you give them everything, they want everything, and then it can be corrupted. I think if it came from a position, we are here to help you heal what you can't heal in yourself, what you can't heal with each other. I think the spirit of that is a wonderful spirit. The problem is it gets corrupted by the people who seem to run the religions.
Wow. Well, with that said, there's your alley-oop for today's topic, man. The sun versus Saturn. Jesus versus the devil show. Oh my God. An in-depth look at the science of astrology / astrotheology. The reason why I did this show is because recently, on an episode of the 5150 show with Corey Holcomb on Tuesday nights on Ustream, Corey, went on a tangent about Jesus and got a lot of pushback, a lot of feedback, some positive, some negative, some indifferent, regarding religion. And I believe, if you look up the word religion from its Latin and Greek roots, it means to bind, right? But no one wants to look at it from a negative space and say, oh, it means to imprison, right? But let's be real. We're not free when it comes to religion. We don't think with an open mind. We don't even think. We don't even put critical thinking with religion. It's always about belief. It's always about faith. It's always about these other components. But it never empowers us to say, wait a minute. What does this really mean? Where did this come from? Who wrote this? What was the intention behind why they wrote it? What were the political intentions? What was the social climate like back then? Why did they write this book? Is there an inner meaning versus an outer meaning? No one applies critical thinking when it comes to religion. And one of the reasons why I believe this doesn't happen is because religion is like the twig to the person that's drowning. A person who's drowning will see that twig as a lifeboat or a lifesaver. So if your life is in the dumps and you see the twig of religion, you'll grab on with full force, believing that it will save you, right? But there's no real critical thinking involved. The reason why I wanted to do this show is because a lot of my Christian friends don't believe in astrology. They think it's evil. They think it's devil worship. But the book is riddled with astrology. And I want to uncover some of those secrets in that book so that they can begin the process of empirical study. Not, I'm going to go off of Reverend Rib. He said, this is the truth, and I'm just going to accept I'm going to walk by faith and accept what he said. Do your own independent studies. So we decided to do this show. Is there any evidence that proves in favor of the existence of Jesus or Abraham or any other biblical figure beyond a shadow of a doubt? Bring your late ass in here. God damn it. Jeff Brown. I mean, this nigga is the Felix Unger of radio.
This just
right?
This just it.
Right.
He was apologizing. Excuse me, I was just rising from the grave. I was a little bit late.
Exactly. Is there any hard evidence that proves in favor of the existence of Jesus or any other biblical figures beyond a shadow of a doubt? We want to ask that question. 855-878-4652. Is astrotheology a form of witchcraft, or is it the real hidden meaning behind the holy books? Is it witchcraft? Is this the real religion that the 1% worship?
They call it witchcraft.
I'm just saying, you get a lot of Christians that'll say devil worship, astrology is devil worship, but astrology is all throughout the Bible. Yeah. Some would argue astrotheology is the religion of the Bible. I'm just asking these questions. Are Christians and Muslims disrespecting the gift of life by hoping and praying that it will all end in an apocalypse? I can't wait till this shit over. I'm living day by day so I can meet him on the other side. I can't wait to see my Lord and Savior's face.
Well, I'm kind of doing that, but I'm just waiting on society. I'm not going that far. I'm waiting on society to collapse, like into some Mad Max shit. I already got my leather jacket at home that I'm sticking nails through it. I got the jacket like that, and then like parking meter maids. I'm gonna kill them first. Right after my ex-wife. You are marked. You are first.
Oh God,
I'm gonna get you, and then the meter maids. I was like, bad with the baseball bat. That's gonna be me beyond the Thunderdome.
And then,
shit.
and then finally, my last two questions, because I really want to put these questions to you. Are the world's religions really just astrology masquerading as culture? And is the Bible the greatest astrology story ever told? Why does astrology even matter to the Bible? Why? Why is it even relevant? Because I always think, if I go to the Bible and it's in English, but certain words are not, that right there makes me raise an eyebrow and say, well, why did you leave this word transliterated but not translated? Transliterated means I'm going to spell the way the word sounds in its original language, but I'm going to spell it in English. So the Hebrew word for zodiac is Mezaroth. Why would you say he has the power to bring forth Mezaroth in its season? Instead of saying what Mezaroth means in English, he has the power to bring forth the zodiac. Yeah. You don't want me to know that Mezaroth means zodiac. Why would you transliterate instead of translate?
Because I don't want you to know Capricorn's in the house, Aquarius in the house,
right?
Scorpius.
So there's some real science. There's some real science here. There's some real science here. My question is, why do the elite have certain access to the science, and then the population just doesn't get it? Dr. G?
I was just looking at the dollar bill. You know what it says on the back of the dollar bill? In God we trust.
Yeah. Who they talking about?
and I was thinking, I'm a psychiatrist, and at our core, when we enter the world, one of the first things we have to decide is whether we trust or distrust. Albert Einstein said one of the most important questions that you can answer in your life is the world safe? And it's so important to trust versus distrust, because if you distrust, then you're just paranoid. And I was thinking about with astrology, when you look at the stars are always there. I mean, there might be a cloudy thing, but there could be famine, there could be tsunamis, there could be all these things. which could destroy your whole village. But maybe you need something that is always there. And except for a cloudy night, you look up and the stars are always there. And maybe this plays to the idea that at our core, we know that if we have nothing that we can believe, nothing we can trust, then we live in a state of constant fear. And so maybe there was some reason for empowering all the stars to mean something else. And, of course, now the stars all mean who's in Us magazine, so it's been kind of different now. But I'm starting to talk like Jeff, But
you mean rambling? Yeah, that's what you got.
Yeah, there you go. But way at our core, if you don't trust, if you trust nothing, then you enter into the world. You don't enter into the world. So I'm wondering if astrology was a way of saying, here is something you can believe in that's not going to change, but then we want you to give us everything you have.
That's a great theory.
Jeff? I know Jeff got some real. He got some monkey knuckle for us right now.
Man. Okay. Who don't see the pimp game? I'm trying to save it for the rant, but it is so incredibly obvious to me that just like with my kids, they have a certain reality within my reality. I have a certain reality within this reality. This is for the masses. Here, I have a son. His name's Blakey. Here, Blakey, would you like a car? I have a car for you. It's a 65 Mustang. It's only this big, and it cost me $12. But that's your car. Now, this one is my car that I keep away from you with strict guidelines. You have to be so old to drive it. You have to have a license to drive your own, because in order for you to join this club, I have to know that you will obey these rules and that you are competent to stand under these rules. The powers that be go, this real magical shit, we gonna tell you this shit that really works. We're gonna tell you is evil because we can't be sure where you're gonna go with it or what you're gonna do with it. So we'll give you this stuff, this Lego god. We'll give you the Lego stuff, but the real shit we'll keep over here. And that's really what I think is going on.
Job chapter 9, verse 9. Who makes the bear, Orion, and the Pleiades, and the chambers of the south? That's Orion. Hey, that's astrology.
That's astrology.
They don't understand it. It's in their book. It's right there. But why is it there? Job chapter 38, verse 2. Who can lead forth a constellation in its season and guide the bear with her satellites?
That's Old Testament.
Yeah,
they don't count.
They don't know what it means. They don't understand why it's there. But when we come back, we about to tie all of this shit together.
Well, Jesus came back, so you don't need the Old Testament.
Saturn versus the sun. Jesus versus the devil when we come back. A deeper look into astrology in the Bible.
My mind two-tone like a bumblebee. Born like that, I'ma die like that. Blame it on Benny Gemini like that, like. I don't wanna blame it on the Zodiac. The whole world crazy.
Hey, what's up? It's Tone Loc in the house, and you're tuned into T Radio V.
This is Quick Fix Radio. Quick Fix Radio. Yeah. Check it out, y'all. We back in the building. What's going on?
Yes, sir. What it do? We got some super special guests up in the place,
in the building, we got all 5 live in the building. Bone Thugs in the building. Everybody.
We up in here
tonight, y'all. What's going on?
Hey man, I had to come see what this TV radio what this all about. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
We got Game on the line. Game, what's going down, baby?
What up? What up, Craig?
What's going on? Oh man, we got EPO Dylan. Who is this on the phone with us?
Yo, what up, man? It's Akon.
Akon in the building. Who is this on the line?
Be Real.
We got Be Real. Be Who is we got on the line?
This is Ty Dolla $ign right here.
What up, Ty Dolla $ign in the building. Thanks to all the fans for stopping by.
The Quick Fix with Crazy Bone, right here on T Radio V.
T Radio V.
And it's Mary Carey, of course, politically naughty with Mary Carey.
I'm always naughty. I'm always politically. My behavior is always politically
naughty.
I'm never politically correct.
Dr.
Dr.
Drew.
Hi. Oh, I'm so.
Hey guys, how are you?
It's all teary-eyed, Doctor.
I know. She wished she could live at rehab.
But only if Dr. Drew's there. Obviously,
Sure.
if someone like, because a little too groping might be inappropriate. But I like the flirting and stuff.
When I walked in,
don't
you
know.
shoved my head in your.
No! Are you gonna sue me?
Get politically naughty with Mary Carey. Mondays at 4 p.m. on T Radio V.
T Radio V. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
Perhaps there is no better example of an unexplained mythical theme than the serpent or dragon. This remarkable creature with origins in prehistoric times has no counterpart in the biological world. Yet it was remembered on every habitable continent and persisted across the millennia into modern times. Well, we can find amusement in the comic book versions of this monster. But nothing in nature today will explain the dragon's long flowing hair, its fiery breath, its beard, its twin whiskers, its wings or effusive feathers, or its global occurrence as twins.
What matters most is his pathetic crucifixion and emergence alive from his tomb. Now, Christians don't know the year of this fabulous miracle. Theologians and New Testament scholars have offered every possibility from the year 30 through to the year 36. A curious uncertainty, to be sure. But that uncertainty is compounded when you ask them to tell you the exact date. Some of them might be smart and say the 14th Nisan, a date in the Jewish calendar. But that date changes every year. Believe it or not, Christians calculate the date of their Lord's life and death act. They calculate it, don't they know? The date of Easter can vary everywhere between March 22nd and April 25th. 35 possible dates. Do we need to calculate the date that Abraham Lincoln was assassinated? It was actually a Good Friday, April the 14th, 1865. We know that from historical sources. Do we need to calculate the date of Julius Caesar's assassination? No, we don't. It was March the 15th, 44 BC. It's a matter of verifiable history.
But it says, and nobody doubts at that time there's a cult of Christians. Just like there were all kinds of crazy-ass cults back in the day. Just because there are cults in the day doesn't mean the figures that the cults are worshiping were actually real. And obviously, there were cults back in the day that believed in Thor and Ra and Zeus and all kinds of other horse shit. Just because they believed in that bullshit does not mean those mythical characters actually existed. Obviously fucking not. So that's it, dude. That's pretty much the entirety of the historical evidence to try to prove Jesus actually existed. It's insulting. It's insulting to anybody who is rational, reasonable, and intellectually honest with themselves. It's fucking insulting. All we have about Jesus, period, are these fictional stories in the Bible written by anonymous authors. We have no clue who wrote the Bible.
I just really believe that we got to have this uncomfortable conversation. How can you learn? How can you learn if you don't challenge what you believe? How many people you find in the Christian church that are actually challenging the pastor that they're the flock of? And I mean challenging them intellectually, challenging them ideologically, challenging them scripturally. Hey, pastor, do you speak Greek? And I don't mean a word or two here and there. Do you speak it well enough to have a biblical conversation with a scholar.
Right. I don't mean tabbouleh and hummus. I
Right.
mean,
Do you, and not only just Greek, but do you speak Latin? Do you have an understanding of Aramaic? Do you have an understanding of Arabic, Ashuric, Hebrew? Do you have an understanding of the languages in which the book was laid out in?
young man, I say I don't understand them things you just said, but I have an understanding. I said Jesus. I said Jesus. I said Jesus is the way. And that's all I'm gonna need. Now give me some money. I need some gators.
Damn. But see, we don't want to make. I'm not trying to just make fun of them. I'm saying
clowns.
I'm saying if this knowledge is predicated on the development of your spirit and your soul, and this deals with your salvation, why would you know? Why would you not go to the ends of the earth to really know the source of it? Why would you not?
Where you are going to spend your eternal life is predicated on the words in this book. How you read 13 or so verses and regurgitate the shit out of those over and over, I don't get it.
Right.
You know, is the message between what we're talking about is beware of anyone who says they're holier than thou. Because it sounds like, you know, what we're talking about is there's a lot of people who are trying to influence you to do something that may not be in your best interest. And so people who come off as holier than thou, and what we're doing is we're poking holes in the holier than thous, because they're not even aware of where the religion came from and what it was based on. But the intent is, I'm holier than thou, and thou shalt give me any and everything, and what you will get is salvation, if not in this life, the next life. But if you donate everything you have, I'll have a pretty good life.
Right. And you know what's crazy? Now I'm about to hit you in the head. You remember in previous shows, I would say that the Bible is in reverse. The God of the Bible is really the devil, right? Mm-hmm. Remember how you say that? And the devil in the Bible is really God. Oh, sacrilege, blasphemy. Oh,
you going to hell.
Listen, the easiest way to keep you away from something is to create a black and white thought matrix. And then label the part of the thought matrix that they don't want you to know as evil. I don't want you to have this information. The same way you lie to your kid and say, if you go in that box under my bed, you're going to get stung because daddy owns a poisonous snake.
Wow. Really?
Just a lie.
Okay. I just tell my kids, I'll tear your ass up if you go up.
But I get it. But would you lie to your kids to protect them?
Yeah, but isn't it human nature that sometimes we focus?
Yeah. Some do, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
No, but human nature, we sometimes focus on the negative. So like when I'm pushing this book, just listen. When I say to people, do you think you need to be a better listener? They say, yeah. Are you doing anything about it? Yeah, I'm trying. And so they're not that motivated. But what if you say to them, well, what's it like when people don't listen to you and they blow you off? Well, then they get highly motivated. Well, they can't do that. They shouldn't do that. And it seems like this human nature to be drawn towards the negative, and then you twist it to motivate people.
But see, this is the point that I'm trying to bring across. If you're programmed with black and white thinking is stereotypical thinking. Stereotypical thinking comes all the way back to good and bad. Good and bad comes back to the concept of religion. This is evil, this is good. You take God and you add an O, you get good. You take devil, you take the D off of it, you have evil. So now everything is black and white, right and wrong.
You take that D and O.
But
what do you do?
But listen to what I'm saying. How you can program people. This is how you can program people. Anything I don't want you to know, I can now label as evil. Point in case. If you go back to the origins of the Catholic Church, all of the quote-unquote pagan beliefs that they usurped most of their information from got labeled pagan. You know, you can't follow those anymore because they're not sanctioned by the church. But at the same time, we'll have Christmas, we'll have Easter, we'll have Valentine's Day. All of these are pagan holidays. We'll have Halloween, the Feast of Samhain. We'll have all of these incorporated.
We'll have young boys.
Wow. How about it?
Yeah.
With hollandaise.
Sauce.
Young boys with hollandaise.
I'll have the cream of some young guy.
Oh, God. But do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm going to label this evil because I know I've programmed you to look at something as evil and you'll stay away from it.
That's it.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So with that said, Lucifer is the god of the Bible. Who is Lucifer in mythology? What is Lucifer represented by?
Light.
Light. Also, the planet Saturn. Now, what's interesting about the Jews, they've always been in captivity, according to their history, to everybody. Egyptians, Babylonians. But as they were in other cultures, if you believe their story, because, I don't know.
Did you hit him with the cat?
History's a lie. History's a fucking lie, right? But if you believe their account of things, they're always picking up shit from the cultures they were supposedly enslaved to, right? Why is Saturday Saturn, the day of Saturn? Why is that the Sabbath? Ask the Christians. It's not Sunday, which is sun worship.
Sure ain't.
Right? Why? Because Jesus is the sun. People don't understand this. When we're going to show this video in a minute, people don't understand. Jesus is a metaphor for the sun. Well, who is Jesus' counterpart? The sun that shone at night 15,000 years ago. What was that? Saturn. It was the sun that shone at night. People don't understand this science. The rings of Saturn is what produces the culture where we wear wedding rings, right? The rings of Saturn, this is all a Saturnian belief system. Jesus is the sun. Polar opposite of the sun is Saturn. You don't believe me? Go to the book of Acts.
I mock your Saturnian belief system.
Go to the book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 43. Yea! Ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch, and the star of your god, Remphan, figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. Remphan, another word that they transliterated. Why do you transliterate in English Remphan? You look up the word Remphan, R-E-M-P-H-A-N. It is the Egyptian word for Saturn. Why you do that? This is God talking to them. Why you go worship Saturn? How do we know it's Saturn? Because the Canaanite and Babylonian word for Saturn as a god is El. Elohim, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael. The god Saturn. Who is Saturn? In Greek mythology, Kronos. Time, Father Time. Who was his son that he tried to kill? Jupiter,
And
the
Technos.
thunder god with the lightning bolts.
And Technos, the Greek god of extremely fast dance music.
I want you to lay down on the floor and go to sleep. We'll be back in a second. We're about to take a quick break, but there's information being developed here right now. Who wants to participate for real, Saturn worshipers? Which is
Ouch.
Lucifer.
Right?
In Egyptian mythology, he would be Set or sunset. Okay, we're gonna come back in a second with more information. Zoe Williams, astrology, astrotheology. We breaking it down.
Hey, I'm Dean Cain, and you are watching T Radio V. I'm watching it too. Right now. Seriously.
What it do is your man Money B from Digital Underground asking everybody to check out the Going Way Back show, your home for classic hip-hop, raw and uncut. Join me
and me, DJ Always,
as well as Ty Teasy, bringing you the old school new news every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here
on T Radio V.
That's right, Radio in TV.
Radio V. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
That's Hermes, Aphrodite, Venus. Mars is Aries. That's Zeus, the god of thunder. He's the boss. And he overtook Kronos, Saturn, as the boss. He's been ruling in the age of Pisces for 2,000 years. Jupiter. The Jews know him as Jehovah. The Catholic Church calls him Peter, Jew Peter. So the Church of Peter at Rome is the Church of Jupiter. But don't be confused, because it's also the Church of Christ. And I'll show you that. That's Christ. And it's also the Church of Saturn. Okay? They've done this deliberately. They say they're Christian. It's not Christian. It's a Saturnian church. Hot, he's the hottest boy in the solar system. He's the coldest of the 7 that we see. Okay? So there's this, they are considered as twin brothers, Jesus and Satan. Saturn is Satan.
It's called a great heavenly council meeting. Both of Elohim's eldest sons were there, Lucifer and his brother Jesus.
He's not a person, he's not a physical person, he's an entity. It's an entity of bad energy that is connected to Earth. And the way it harnesses energy is through pain and suffering, death especially, because when people die, their souls leave their body. And if they've had a bad life, or if they've led a wrong life or whatever, that energy just goes directly back to its source, which is Satan. It's all to do with spiritual electricity. Jesus came here to warn us of this, okay? And the Bible was wrote. And yes, the Bible is flawed because so many people wrote it over so many hundreds of years and different writers and all the rest of it. But they've kept the mainframe of the Bible there, and the reason why the Bible is so flawed is because that was Satan's influence again, because the Freemasons got a hold of the original texts and changed them, right? So to confuse us all, right? So even the most Christian of Christian people are still not getting it right. Because I know Christians that go, oh, but I'm a Christian and I go to Mass and blah, blah, blah. But they still go home and watch TV and jerk off to porn and drink and whatever else, right? And they think because they're Christians and they go to Mass every Sunday that they're actually good people, but they're not. Because the church, all churches, Protestant, Catholic, whatever, they're all satanic institutions. They're financial institutions. That's why there's one in every district, St. Paul's, St. Peter's, St. Mary's, whatever. They put these financial institutions into every district, just like a bank, right?
The financial institution.
The Saturnian cult. What do? They wear black robes, just like your judge. Again, this is what separates the 1%ers from the 99%ers, which separates the ruling class, right, from those who are ruled, which separates the aristocracy from the population, right? People don't understand. This 1% have the esoteric knowledge, while the public has the exoteric, the outer knowledge, right? That guy who was breaking down the sun, did you see how he said, Jesus is the sun, speaking astrologically or astrotheologically, Jesus is the sun. You look up the word Jesus, you'll find out that it actually means sun, right? Jesus is the sun, hottest planet or hottest being in the galaxy. Saturn is the coldest, polar opposites. You saw the cartoon of the Mormons who called Jesus and Lucifer, or Jesus and Satan, brothers.
Yeah.
Why? Nobody wants to ask who came up with this philosophy. First off, if you do your research about the Mormons, you'll find out that Joseph, what was his name? Joseph Smith?
Joseph Smith.
Mason. You do your research on Jehovah's Witness, Charles Taze Russell or Charles Rutherford, Masons. Do your research. You'll find out that most of these are Masonic cults that have been set up. If you don't understand the Masonic laws, if you don't understand the symbology behind it, you won't understand the esoteric meaning of what's being taught. A Saturnian cult. Everything represents rings. If you look at Saturn, we had a car company called Saturn just a few years ago.
Yes.
If you look at Nissan, its emblem, Saturn. If you look at Pepsi, Saturn. They use the circle with the ring. If you look at Earthlink, Saturn, right? If you look at the symbology, is it a coincidence that all of these are coming together? I'm not saying it's the truth. I'm just saying look at it objectively. It's also represented by the cube. Why the cube? Because the six-pointed star is a hexagram. You look up the word hex in Latin. Hex also shares its word with sex and six-sided. Most people don't understand it. The six-pointed star is the star of the man. Why? Arm, leg, penis, leg, arm. That's 6 sides. That's why the woman's star is 5.
What?
Right? Which goes back to a term called the quintessence.
I never hang out with him when I'm high. Never.
I'm just saying.
He can waste good weed. You will be, oh God, I can't think.
I mean, I'm just trying to give context to the symbology of what's going on, and the 1% have these corporations in place knowing the science of the esoteric information. The only way you can stay a sheep is if you practice a belief that is predicated on the external understanding of it as opposed to the internal. But listen, you can't argue spirituality. It's here.
Right.
But if I was talking to a sister earlier today. She was talking about her belief. I said, that is the easiest way. Belief and thought are married when it comes to manifestation. So if I can get into the mainframe of your thought and program the thoughts, and then you fuel those thoughts that I have altered with belief, you'll create a reality.
Santa Claus.
You'll create a fucking reality. But if you somehow say, give me the thought component back to my existence and let me challenge everything you said was truthful and go in and look at a situation objective with critical thinking and then put it back together with my belief, I begin to manifest my reality, my narrative. Why is there this conspiracy to keep us from knowing the truth? Why is religion a tool of control? Dr. G, Veronica Conway is on the line. I want to know, Jeff, why is it so important to keep the masses deaf, dumb, and blind?
Because that's the only way to have any semblance of structure where you can keep your line wealthy for generations to come, is to keep the other lines in line. If they start to break line, if they start to go, wait a minute, I can think for myself. I can think, what if we all just said, you know what, we're all just not going to work tomorrow. All of us, none of us are going to work tomorrow. What the fuck would you do if people were thinking that free? That we can't have that. We have to line this shit up because they're like bulls. They'll get loose and destroy everything.
Maybe the point is, if you're trying to get your point across to another person, and you were say to someone, you can't dispute me, people are going to say, oh yeah, but if you, and then they'll take you on. But if you say, you can't dispute this, and then you speak with all kinds of fervor, and this with a capital T, maybe capital TH, and so I think when you used, you can't dispute this, it's like a trump card. Whereas if it's kind of like you and your own little weenie personal authority over another person, they're going to push back and they're going to stick their chin out at you like an adolescent and say, you know, dare you, dare you, dare you. No, this isn't about me. This is about this. And maybe it's a way of galvanizing it. And then you can twist stuff when you say to someone, or you can say to someone, so prove to me it's not true. Prove to me that this isn't this.
Right.
No, I guess not.
Right, man, this is good stuff. Veronica Conway, I got to get her in here. So just, VC, you hear what we talking about. Chop it up. Is she there? VC. Okay, so what we're going to do is go to break, and then we'll come back and get Veronica on the line, because I know she's got information on this. We'll be back in 2.2 seconds. Man, we talking about astrology in the book. Is astrology the real religion they don't want you to know about? We'll be back in 2.2. Holla.
All that matters is that I'm here with you, lady. Having you close to me.
Hey, I'm Dean Cain, and you are watching T Radio V. I'm watching it too. Right now. Seriously.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This your boy Crazy Bone.
Man, I'm the bum Keith G, man.
And whenever you sitting at home and can't shake the monkey off your back,
yeah,
then just know every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m.
Right.
You can tune in to the Quick Fix and get your fix on, man.
Right here on TRadiov.com, baby.
Radio and TV.
Now, how they gonna see us on the radio then?
Radio, I don't know. Or is it TV and radio?
But it's
one of them.
I gotta figure this radio and TV thing out though, bro. I don't understand. I'm gonna tell my mom how she gonna see
Get
us.
it together.
T Radio V. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
Today's rant was just inspired to me 30 seconds ago by a beautiful lady who works here with the show, who came in here just 40 seconds ago and said that at my low point, it was Jesus that healed and saved me.
Hallelujah.
Now, I am of the strict belief that she was actually healed and saved by a higher power. What I don't believe for a half a second is the person who brought it to her thinks it's a lie, because it isn't a lie to that person, and it isn't a lie to her. And it's not a lie to the person who told that person, or the person who told that person, or to the person who told that person. Who it is a lie to is the person that said, we already know that human beings are the manifestation of the higher power, and they come here with their inherent good in place. They're going to go looking for the God that is in them already, and we're going to replace it with this. Why? Because that's the way we can get all of you to do what it is we need you to do. If you're using the code word Jesus to represent who it is at the top of your thinking, then I am at the top of your thinking, because I made this dude up. So you are basically thinking what I'm thinking, and when you're thinking what I tell you to think, And where this begins to fall apart is when people like myself, like Zoe, go, oh, really? Wow. Well, let's look into this Jesus you're talking about. He was 2,000 years. He was here 2,000 years ago. Well, how is that possible if the letter J is only 900 years old? How is it possible that this Jesus dude was here 2,015 years ago when there are 10 stories exactly like his that predate him by thousands of years? Not a few, thousands. How is this possible when I can point to you the dudes that wrote it, the dudes that put it together, the dudes that tortured the dudes who petitioned for stuff to be in this book that's not there? I really don't understand black Christians. I don't get it, because it's real clear that this God don't dig you. Gays. I don't understand gay marriage. I don't get it. It is real clear that this dude don't dig you. Okay, trying to be gay or black in church is like me trying to join the Klan. I really don't get it. I'm done.
The rant, the intellectual rant. Jeff Brown.
It's Veronica. Yeah.
Veronica's on the line.
I hear that.
Let's get some femininity.
I hear that honey-coated voice. There she is.
We need the anti-rant.
The anti-rant,
Jeff,
indeed.
Your rant was exquisite. Jeff's rant was exquisite.
Oh, thank you, honey. Bunny. Go ahead. Hit him with it.
Oh, shit.
Hit him with some furthermore, girl.
So I want to go back to what Dr. G said. You know, I've been really fortunate because I have been exposed to some very advanced esoteric spirituality, the likes of which most people have probably never heard of, seen, witnessed, any of it. And I've been exposed to that for, I would say, the good last 15 years of my life. So there is a difference between what's presented to the masses and what is presented to, and what people know, what's available. But I want to go back to what Dr. G said, because it's very, you know, you can find the truth in the nuances. You can find the truth in these small moments between the inhale and the exhale. There's a moment of separation that we experience after we get here. And that moment of separation is when we sort of disconnect from God, and we find ourselves dependent on humans and whatever's happening here on this planet. And that moment of separation is so terrifying. It's so terrifying that it becomes the first point of compromise for human beings.
Wow.
The first point of compromise.
Wow.
Where they say to themselves, because I've actually been taken through a process where I've relived this experience.
Damn.
And that moment of compromise sets up the rest of your life to be completely in compromise and in fear, because you think that if you don't compromise, you will die. Religion exploits that moment.
Damn.
Oh, damn.
Freezer.
I'm going to need you to repeat that.
That's why she here.
Yeah, go deeper.
Holy
Go deeper
shit.
into compromise. That's a very important word.
Religion exploits your initial sense of compromise. You know what? I might get that tattooed on my shoulder. That's dope.
In crayon.
So that moment is so terrifying and so profound. And when I went to relive it myself, I saw why I had made all of my subsequent decisions. I saw why I reached for things so that I would feel safe. I saw why I ignored the truth, right, in service of what would placate me and soothe me and make me feel good. So I think that if the average religious person knew what was actually available spiritually, because what they've been given is a poor shadow, a poor approximation. If they actually knew what was really available spiritually, they would burn this motherfucker down. They would.
Right. I mean, it goes back to Napoleon. He said if it wasn't for religion, the poor people would kill the rich people.
That's it.
It is a spiritual limiter.
Lollipop.
It is a spiritual limiter. When you have people who are what, quote unquote, Jesus allegorically, spiritually said, you can do even greater works than I. You and I are the same. We have the same capabilities, right? Now let me keep you from realizing that God is in you. You're the temple. Let me keep you from understanding that. I need a spiritual governor, a spiritual limiter, because I know human beings. Hosea, the book of Hosea. As a man thinketh, so is he. I need to figure out how to control his reality manufacturer. I got to control that. I have to control the content and information that goes through there, because if I don't, he's ungovernable. He is on equal footing and par to me. He's a peer now.
Do any of you know about Julian Jaynes, the breakdown of consciousness and the origins of the bicameral mind?
Speak on it. No, say more.
He
Sounds
died.
like you've read it.
Yeah, I read it. I wish I could recall, but it's a. What he basically talked about is how is it that human beings came to be conscious, and what he says is that early on, how do we go from animal to consciousness? I mean, consciously thinking. And he said there was a process that involved, for instance, I'm just scattering this, but for instance, like when the pyramids were built, what he believed is that everybody who built the pyramids was schizophrenic. Because if you read hieroglyphics, there is nothing in hieroglyphics about mental illness, and his belief is it's because everybody was mentally ill, but they had a shared hallucination that was telling them to build this pyramid, and that's one of the reasons they could all cooperate for hundreds of years.
Okay, now we had to kick his ass. He didn't went crazy.
Never before.
Go ahead, finish it.
And then what happened is they took it from that, and then they consolidated into in Greece into temples and places of religion. And then one of the things he talks about is he said modern day schizophrenics are actually a connection to who we were thousands of years ago, because everybody hallucinated, but it was a shared hallucination which enabled them to cooperate together. I mean, it's a very fanciful
That's a lot of good
book.
weed.
It's kind of
group crazy.
But
That's a lot of good
you
weed.
should read that when you're doing weed, you guys.
Yeah, I don't smoke weed, so it's going to be difficult. But that's a lot of good weed.
I smoke it for him. I'm his weed stunt double.
I may have, because I read it when I was at Berkeley in the 60s, so there's a possibility that
there you
something
go.
was
involved. That's hilarious.
Dr. G done got his Bill Clinton on.
But check out Julian
I
Jaynes.
didn't inhale.
Yeah.
I didn't inhale. You wasted your money.
But you wasted your money. But the reason why I'm challenging this, I'm challenging it, is because you can't say in one breath nothing is impossible, except through the conduit of some belief system that ultimately limits you. Impossible means I'm possible. Religion takes the I'm out of possibility and puts it into the collective believer. So if I can contain the content of the collective believer, I can keep you manifesting a reality that I designed for you.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
Here's what doesn't make sense to me. Why is it that whenever you bring this kind of conversation to Christian believers, all you get is nah. They don't have nothing else. They got nothing. They got nothing else.
A couple weeks ago, we talked about the word believe. And a lot of people was like, where'd that come from? What you talking about? He don't know what he talking about. I said, look up the word believe. Latin, be lie. Look up the word be lie. That is the root word of believe. B-E-L-I-E. The root word of believe is be lie. Latin. It means to give the lie away from you to me as a gift. From me to you as a gift. Middle English, Belalogian. The lie is a gift from you to me. Now, when you look up the word etymologically, because I got reamed, right, for mispronouncing the word as if the point still wasn't valid. But okay, that's something else, right? But If you look up believe from its root, they separate be lie from believe. They'll give you a definition for believe. And you say, well, wait a minute, I want the root of it. No, you have to know which root to look for in order to get the truth. They don't want you knowing, because when you're knowing, you're the creator. I got to take a quick break. I'll be back in 2.2.
I was born on the mothership. My mathematics is different, they on some dumber shit. I'm trying to wake niggas up, they on that slumber shit. See, your DNA is...
Yo, what's up, what's up? This is Too Short and you're watching T Radio V.
All right, serious business
Okay,
here.
ready, guys?
Serious business. Radio voice, everybody. Okay, here we go.
Let's just play. We should put music on and just dance for a minute.
Wait. I have to stop and say one thing. I have to say 2 words.
Hey.
So join us and the rest of the T Radio V.
Ready? Are we on? Give me some music. Watch this. Ready?
Wait, are we rolling? No.
Oh, is this real? Like, I was just totally kidding.
Oh, let's start again. Say that. Okay, start again.
Keep going.
I could do real jazz. Do jazz hands.
That was a shtick. I was doing a shtick.
Well,
the hair is blonde, it's dye. Just because you don't have any hair and he doesn't have any hair and I have all this fake hair.
Start again.
Fine.
How's the hair and the...
I feel like I'm in a puzzle.
Any show you can have, I can have better.
Any show you can have, I can have better.
Are we filming all this? Yep. That's awesome. This is the good stuff. You're short and you know it. I know it was a lot of hodgepodge, but that's good, right?
Yeah,
hodgepodge is good to cut.
Let's do the intro one more time. Menopause.
T Radio V. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
So here's the cipher we have for the English alphabet, and we derived this from the Freemasonic symbol here of the compass and the square and the G in the center here, and the motif of the 6 days of creation then resting on the Sabbath. So what we did is split the alphabet A through M, and then N through Z, and we just walked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, being the Sabbath, resting on the G here, the G and the T, and then we just walk back down to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, putting the corresponding numbers to the letters of our alphabet. I've got several videos going over this cipher and a book going over this as well, so you can check that out for if you want to look at this in depth. But what we're going to do is actually use this cipher on the zodiac and the disciples of Christ. And what we're going to do is look at the numerology. And we can actually put the numbers to numerology. N is 1, U is 6, M is 1, E is 5, R is 5, O is 2, L is 2, O is 2, G is 7, and Y is 2. And numerology actually equals 33. And of course, there are 33 degrees of freedom. Look at the 12 disciples of Christ around the sun here. And then we're actually going to look at the 12 ages of the zodiac. And I'd actually ask you to pause the video and double check all this yourself. I've got the zodiac in the book, and we're going to look at the 12 disciples of Christ. And we're going to do the numerical equivalents of those. I'm not going to do that all here. Like I said, you can stop and check this out yourself. But the 12 disciples of Christ were Matthew, James, Thomas, Bartholomew, Philip, John, Andrew, James, Simon, Peter, Judas, and Matthias. And then what I've done is actually put these names, the 12 disciples, around Jesus Christ, equaling 59, of course, and corresponded them to the 12 ages of the zodiac. Now, I'm not completely confident that these are the particular names or the disciples actually go to these houses. This is just the most common one I've seen, and it doesn't really matter for our study here. But just so you know,
the sun passes through, or is assisted on its annual journey on its 365 days with 12 helpers, the 12 houses of the zodiac. This, of course, is why Jesus has 12 apostles. Moses has 12 tribes of Israel. This is, of course, astrology. This isn't real history. This is metaphor. The 12 apostles reflect the 12 houses of the zodiac. The most obvious one is, of course, Judas Iscariot, who is Scorpio, who, of course, stings Jesus, the Son, thus sending him to death. in the winter months. This is, of course, why the sun begins to lose all its power around October, November. That's Judas. The first house of the zodiac is Aries the Ram, which of course occurs at the vernal equinox. That corresponds with Peter. That's why he carries on the church after Jesus' death.
This is the cross of the zodiac, one of the oldest conceptual images in human history. It reflects the sun as it figuratively passes through the 12 major constellations over the course of a year. It also reflects the 12 months of the year, the 4 seasons, and the solstices and equinoxes. The term zodiac relates to the fact that constellations were anthropomorphized, or personified, as figures or animals. In other words, the early civilizations did not just follow the sun and stars, they personified them with elaborate myths involving their movements and relationships. The sun, with its life-giving and saving qualities, was personified as a representative of the unseen creator or God, God's son, the light of the world, the savior of humankind.
Here's my problem with what I just saw.
Go ahead.
It is the Christian reaction to what I just saw. I never get...
Okay, I'm gonna go research that.
I never get that, or I don't know.
I never heard that before. Let me go find out.
All I get is
no.
Wait, whoa.
Knowledge is evil.
Okay, if I say peanut butter and mayonnaise is bullshit,
no,
you can't just say no. We got to have peanut butter and mayonnaise and bread and eat this sumbitch right here. You can't just, when I hit you with facts and logic, you can't turn around and hit me with warm and fuzzy. That's I need some more. I need you to say, I'm saying your shit is bullshit because of this. I need you to say, my shit is for real and your shit is bullshit because of that. And I never get to that, ever. I haven't gotten to that from these people, and I've talked to them personally. Noel Jones, T.D. Jakes, Bishop Blake. These are people I have sat down with.
Again.
And then you don't get nothing.
Again, the reality of it is Christianity is the Europeanized version of the Horus, Egyptology, Egyptian religion.
Absolutely.
Horus, hours. Deus, day. Deus, God. Deus means God. There's a school down here right next to the Nickerson Gardens. There's a private Catholic school called Verbum Dei. Verbum, word, day, God. Day, sunlight, God. Verbum Dei, word of God. Verbum daytime, fucks. Right? Where we get our word day means God. I don't know. You can't have day without the sun, which is God. It's a sun-worshiping religion, Sunday school. What is the sun's name? Yes. It's a Greek word. Yes. Where we get the word year.
Yesterday.
Year. And yesterday. Right? If you don't do the research into the language, you're not going to know that this is astrotheology. And it makes perfect sense. We're going to make astrology evil because of the black and white thought matrix. We make it evil. You'll never seek to understand it, and you will forever imprison yourself.
I don't even have to imprison you.
I don't have to do it. Veronica Dindock.
I'll defer to Veronica.
It's
that's what Veronica Dindock means.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Go
babe.
ahead, sweetie.
Okay, great. So understand, it kind of goes back to Jeff's point about why do Christians have the reaction that they do. See, the greatest trick that ever got played was to give people just a portion of the spiritual power.
Wow.
Right? So
yes.
if you get people into a position where they're experiencing sort of a bit of spiritual phenomena, a bit of spiritual, they pray and they get results, because then they're going to defend that to the death.
Exactly right.
Because they don't understand that they're sacrificing larger spiritual power to have the little bit that they have.
So you're saying something so goddamn powerful right now. Go back to the book called Prometheus Rising. You read chapter 1. Chapter 1 is only 5 pages long in Prometheus Rising by Robert Anton Wilson, called Whatever the Thinker Thinks, the Prover Will Prove. And one of the questions was, he was asking a lady, what's holding up the earth? She said, a turtle. And he said, well, what's holding up the turtle? Another turtle. Well, what's holding up that turtle? Another turtle. And then finally, the lady got pissed off and said, man, it's turtles, turtles, turtles all the way. And that's her belief. Whatever the thinker thinks, the prover will prove. They understand that you are a God, and what you believe in will manifest. I have to take control of you believing in things. I have to funnel the knowledge. This is why education is stratified. This is why class is in place. We have to keep you from knowing a higher quality of information, because the higher the quality of information, the higher your experience.
I need to control your manifestation.
Man, that's what it is.
But talk more about, because it sounds like, Veronica, you were saying that religion gives the people a taste, which serves as a tease.
And,
Correct.
I like that.
And that.
Correct. So we get satisfied. It's like they talk about in the Bible, at my father's house have many mansions. Well, really,
houses.
For most people, in reality, in the context of things, in the scheme of things, most people are sitting in the toilet thinking, wow, this shit is great. I'm having this really limited experience, and never being willing to open the door to go out into the mansion. And so when we give people just slivers of the truth, just glimpses of the truth, and they begin to have profound spiritual experiences, not in comparison to what they could be experiencing, not in comparison to what they could know, it's just enough to keep them dependent, working, humping.
Yeah.
It's just enough. It's just enough.
We're gonna give you a Snicker. We can give you a Snicker, but we're not gonna tell you nothing about fish, shrimp, chicken, eggs, none of that. Just Snickers. You gonna tell me the chicken ain't shit, and you ain't never had an oyster, ain't never had no squid,
right?
Nigga, you going to hell if you don't eat this Snicker.
So it sounds like religion disorients us so it can misorient us.
Absolutely.
You going to hell!
The biggest trick that they played was to make you feel guilty about the most powerful energy that comes through people and everything on the planet. The way that everything gets created, God used sex to get everything created. And so if I take this very powerful ocean of energy that is for not just for procreation but for creation, and I make you feel guilty about it, then I have completely jacked up your mechanism for manifestation. That's why religion is so quote unquote anti-sex, unless of course it's the Catholic Church practicing pedophilia, that it's okay.
Ooh. Okay, if I may, I'm gonna challenge every and no diss to the white folks who watch the show. But y'all house not really on fire.
Okay, none of them are watching.
That's right.
That's wrong.
Dear black Christians under the sound of my voice.
You're not talking to us, heathen.
Get on your knees.
Wrong. Not to you, pagan god.
I dare you to ask your God, are we lying? Are we wrong? Are we misled? Are we blaspheming? And ask him to show you the real truth. I dare you. That's how I got here.
First off, being a believer and living by faith takes all the responsibility of knowing off your plate. With knowing comes responsibility. Christians don't want the responsibility of knowing. Muslims don't want the responsibility of knowing. They want to be saved. They are spiritual victims.
Wow.
They've been taught to be victims. It's not my fault. According to the rules of this book, It's not my fault.
According to the playbook.
I was born a sinner. And I followed all of the edicts. Every time I killed somebody, every time I stole from somebody, I asked you for forgiveness. And according to the rules, I get that.
Wow.
I'm not going to be responsible for this knowledge. Now I'm responsible to make my life better. And not only am I responsible to make my life better, I'm responsible to be an emblem of how others can do it.
It's really on me.
I don't want to do that.
Well, I think they want to give, I think, and especially I was carried into the Christian church as an infant. And like I say, most black people are born Christian. It's when they learn how to read that shit falls apart.
Can I speak to that?
Wait, yeah, you can. Hold on, let's finish your thought, Jeff. We can't see you, Veronica.
No, go ahead, Veronica. Go ahead. I'll come back to it. Go ahead.
I love
Go
her.
ahead. Go ahead, Veronica.
Hi, I'm here, niggers. Talking.
No, I'm trying to make the story as simple as possible, but I want to give you an example of what I've experienced that has where I've witnessed and observed how beliefs come together and they become their own thought form. They take on a life of their own. I helped build a company called Bioetherics, where it's a distant energy signal, where you can literally put a intent. They were using very advanced forms of planetary astrology and all kinds of technologies. But basically, you could send a signal to a person. You could send a signal to a body of water and activate that water and do all kinds of very powerful things. But one of the things that we could do in that technology is we could write down, say, the word Jesus on a piece of paper or God on a piece of paper, and we could put it on the machine and send that signal and have an experience of that thing. Okay?
Oh, wow.
So the word Jesus had its own energy. So did God. So did devil. Right? You could put anything on there and actually feel the energy of that. And so what I discovered from being around this technology and helping build a company around this technology is that whether or not Jesus is true, what's true is that because he's been worshipped so much and there's been so many thoughts
hella powerful
over time,
yes,
it has its own power.
No question.
Because people have been focusing on it. Not because it's real, it's because of the power that people have given it. It becomes its own entity.
It's real because we believe. It's real because we believe. That's what people don't understand.
So if you don't believe, it isn't.
Listen, before we go to break, I want you to go get this book.
I don't know if I want a God that wishy-washy.
I want you to get this book right now. Pi, The Great Work by Marty Leeds. Pi, The Great Work by Marty Leeds. You saw him doing the numerology next to the book with the Masonic symbol on it. That information that he does is based off a science called gematria. Please, I'm trying to give you jewels so you can learn what I've studied over 25 years. Pi, The Great Work. We'll be back at 2.2. Holla.
From that judgment, homie, I'm in the world, but not of it. Got that flow with no adjustments. Balling out with no budget. I'm crazy design when I drop them lines with no dollar signs.
Hi, I'm Sheriff John Bonnell. You're watching T Radio. Radio and TV? What? Perfect. That was perfect. Why are you asking me to do this after 12 drinks?
T Radio V.
What did you play opposite Andy, Eric? Do you remember?
Andy and I worked as two employees at a network.
Okay. Oh, you're forgetting the other thing.
I played a news anchor, and he played a reporter.
Okay, but the other thing you did, the thing you did on the Andy Dick show, who did you play to Andy?
Oh, is that going to play my sister?
You played his wife, Denise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you played his wife.
Yeah. So what's wrong with that, Elijah?
Nothing's wrong with it.
He's got a great range as an actor.
Yeah, it just was funny.
Encounters with Eric and Eliza Roberts, Wednesdays from 2 to 4 p.m. on T Radio V.
Radio V. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
Is as follows. Horus was born on December 25th of the Virgin Isis Mary. His birth was accompanied by a star in the east, and upon his birth he was adored by 3 kings. At the age of 12, he was a prodigal child teacher, and at the age of 30, he was baptized by a figure known as Anup, and thus began his ministry. Horus had 12 disciples he traveled about with, performing miracles such as healing the sick and walking on water. Horus was known by many gestural names such as the Truth, the Light, God's Anointed Son, the Good Shepherd, the Lamb of God, and many others. After being betrayed by Typhon, Horus was crucified, buried for 3 days, and thus resurrected. These attributes of Horus, whether original or not, seem to permeate many cultures of the world, for many other gods are found to have the same general mythological structure. Attis of Phrygia, born of the Virgin Nana on December 25th, crucified, placed in a tomb, and after 3 days was resurrected. Krishna of India, born of the Virgin Devaki, with a star in the east signaling his coming. He performed miracles with his disciples, and upon his death was resurrected. Dionysius of Greece, born of a virgin on December 25th, was a traveling teacher who performed miracles such as turning water into wine. He was referred to as the King of Kings, God's only begotten Son, the Alpha and Omega, and many others. And upon his death, he was resurrected. Mithra of Persia, born of a virgin on December 25th, he had 12 disciples and performed miracles, and upon his death was buried for 3 days and thus resurrected. He was also referred to as the Truth, the Light, and many others. Interestingly, the sacred day of worship of Mithra was Sunday. The fact of the matter is, there are numerous saviors from different periods from all over the world which subscribe to these general characteristics. The question remains, why these...
In his book, Antiquities of the Jews, the first-century Jewish Roman historian Josephus lists all the crimes of King Herod. If Herod had murdered the children of an entire area to kill one infant, Josephus would have included it. Josephus doesn't mention it because it never happened. King Herod killing the infants occurs only in the Gospel of Matthew. No other gospel mentions it. Historians of the time do not mention it.
Back to Saturn. Astrologically speaking, why is Saturn considered the devil? First off, let's go back to Jesus. Jesus is the sun. The Greeks called it Helios, right? If you look at our galaxy, there is a sphere of influence, right, around our galaxy that begins with our sun, the life giver, right, as the Egyptians called him, the life giver. This is why God only has one son, right, the only begotten. In all ancient myths, which are myths of history, myths of nature, the sun is the son of God. Horus is the sun, walking across the water as it rises. Why do the Greeks name the sun? Yes, because we watch it rise and then we watch it set. This is the universal symbol for yes. Right? The sun is called yes, which is also called Jesus. The reason why Saturn is considered evil or negative, because according to astrology, when Saturn is influencing your aspects, it challenges you. It pushes you. It puts you through a hard time. But it is understood astrologically that if Saturn is in your shit, you're going to be going through some shit, but you're going to be getting gifts for having gone through it. It's like a spiritual personal trainer. Look up the word Satan, adversary, which gives you your word adversity. What is a life lived without adversity? You could argue that Satan is a spiritual personal trainer that gets you ready for shit. Obstacles. If you haven't gone through nothing, you haven't lived. If you haven't lived, you can't advise. People don't even understand. This is what it's about and what it has been about. But I don't want you to have that knowledge, because by you having that knowledge, I can't rule you. Veronica? Where's Veronica?
Is she there? She probably went to the refrigerator to get some hibiscus tea.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Probably went outside to get the mail or something. You want to speak on that, Veronica?
Look, can you guys hear me now? I'm sorry.
Yes, we can hear you, love. We got you.
Okay. Yes. If you deal with anybody that has any really profound spiritual knowledge, really deep esoteric knowledge, they blend together all of these things: astrotheology, astrology, numerology.
Because they all
right?
can.
All of those things all blend together. And people that have, I'm going to call them adepts. If you know people that are adepts, they tend to synthesize and bring together all of this esoteric knowledge and create miracles with them. That's just what you can do with this technology, if you will. And the thing about it is, and it's a deep piece, because I've gone through it myself, I've supported people in going through it. When we really begin to wake up to the depths of the lie that's happening out here, when we really begin to see it, sometimes the realization of it is so intense, and the spiritual awakening of it, the jarring of your psyche is so intense that it can feel like you're literally losing your mind. Because if we come into contact with the lie, then we have to go back and revisit all of the places that we sold out on ourselves to entertain that lie, to maintain that lie.
It's crazy.
People avoid doing that because it's painful. It's excruciating work.
This is what I was just telling the sister. During the break. I said, human beings are programmed to move toward things that feel good and move away from things that feel bad. So by nature of that process, anything that doesn't feel good is considered to be bad and thus bad for you.
Working out is
anything that feels good is considered to be good for you.
Pie is good.
What you fail to realize is some of your most valuable lessons and most fruitful lessons are those that are most painful. And you are to endure the pain. You are to go into the pain. But if you go into the pain, now you transform. If you transform, you can't be governed. We are trying to keep you from transformation, from evolution. This is why it only takes one generation for science to change. You'll have staunch mother. I don't believe in Einstein. I don't believe in that shit. Well, then when the three-dimensional or the fourth-dimensional mathematics comes out and you can't argue the math, I don't give a fuck what you say or what you think your opinion is about it. When you get down to fourth-dimensional mathematics, you can't argue it. So now Hey, whether you believe it or not, science is moving on without you. Only takes one generation for a new scientific idea to come and rewrite the old. Spiritual, cultural, and religious sciences, especially the dogmatic political version of it, becomes calcified culture. Concretized culture. And you have some of the most inflexible, hard-headed, non-learning, stoic, fuck what you say, this works for me, I got my own emotional testimony because it worked for me. And I'll tell you why it worked for you, because you're God. Whatever you believe in is true. That's why it works.
I swear I could never fuck up my weed money.
But do you understand what I'm saying? But do you see what I'm saying? That's what it's for. Jesus, everything about Jesus is fish because he was during the time of Pisces. The 2 fish miracle. Go and become fishermen of men. Fish, 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 fish. The fucking Catholics wear their headdress is the fish of Dagon. The mitre is the fish of Dagon.
I know, it looked like a catfish.
But why? But why? Because it was during the time of Pisces. Guess what the time of Pisces signifies? I believe. Look, let's get out of the time of Pisces. We're going into the time of Aquarius. Even in the Bible, Jesus said, you'll know it is the end. Christians got it wrong, hoping for the end of the world. Purposely mistranslated. The word world in the New Testament verse that says end of the world, that word world is the Greek word eon. End of an age.
A way of thinking.
The age of Pisces is over. Pisces is Jesus. How do we know? Well, Jesus' mother was a virgin. Virgo, the natural opposite of Pisces. You see her with the wheat, right? Oh, what does Jerusalem mean? House of peace, right? When you see the wheat, that represents, okay, we got to get the storehouse together. It's almost, winter's coming. December 25th is when the sun dies for 3 days. In other words, across the horizon, the sun appears to stop. And it stays there.
For 3 days and makes its journey back south.
Then when it starts to rise again 3 days later, wow, was he in the tomb for 3 days? It's a fucking metaphor for the sun dying, being rebirthed. Sunset. Set, the Egyptian devil. Sunset. We about to die. Yahshua. Yah in all Semitic languages, whether it's Arabic, Hebrew, Aramic, Yah is like us saying, hey. Getting somebody's attention. Hey, with the Muslim speaking people, the Hebrew, Yah. It's like, hey, I'm calling you, which means oh in English. Yah, oh, Shua, Savior. When the sun came back up in the morning, the Savior. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying? This is real. I fuck being right, because I don't have a religion.
Right.
I don't care. I don't care. But I do know our people are at their most close-minded when we don't agree religiously. We're at our most intransigent, our most non-participatory with each other when we don't agree religiously.
Mm-hmm. He don't go to church. I ain't know.
He don't know. He don't know what he's talking about. He going to hell. You don't even know Greek's original name was Hellas, hell, the Hellenistic society. You don't even know where hell came from. You didn't know hell came from Dante's Inferno, because before that they didn't have a description of hell. What? The people just don't understand the belief system. That's what controls you. Go back to what Veronica said earlier about giving you a nugget of truth, a kernel of truth, right? I told you before, go get the book called The Kybalion, written by the 3 initiates, Kybalion, Kybalion, the Kybalion. It's all Egyptian. Why are the Egyptians considered evil and bad people in the Bible? Because that's where the light is. When they went in and turned it into the dark continent, that's because they took all the light or the knowledge out of it. You end your prayers with Amen, which is the sun god Ra. Amen Ra. Damn.
Now, what I need is no, we don't. Amen means something else from any Christian to call in and it to say that's what I'm waiting on. It's for you to hit the ball back over the back. They never hit the ball over the net.
Listen, they are slaves. They've never stopped being slaves. When I say they, I mean us.
Oh, yeah.
We don't understand the reasoning behind. When you see a picture of the Pope holding a staff with a sun at the top made out of a cross, you don't know that's astrology. When you drive by your church and you see that cross with a circle around it, you don't know that's the astrology and the 4 seasons and the cross represents the equinox. When you read about Enoch in the Bible, equinox, Enoch. Equinox means equal night. Oh, Equinox was the only one in the Bible that never died. How old was Enoch when he walked into heaven as a human being? 365 years old. 365 years is your year. It's astrology. The devil is Saturn, is Set, is Lucifer, and they all represent astrologically challenge in your life. The dark sun, the black sun, which is why you see the black robed cult, the cult of the black square. When you graduate, black robe, square martyr board hat. Wow. The black square, Mecca. You circling a black cube called the Kaaba. The Jews, Hasidic Jews at the Wailing Wall have a little box on their forehead. They're all worshiping Saturn. They picked up this belief system from the ancient Canaanites. And this translates back into Judaism, which translates back into Christianity, which trickles all the way into Islam. If you haven't done the research and you don't speak the languages, you'll never know.
That all this makes its way back to the Greater New Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church, where Bishop Johnny P. Keys is the pastor. I need to have you here this Sunday. The usher boy is in the kitchen. And you know Sister Cottle make them greens. So y'all need to come on down. And we need some more money for the building fund.
And I'm not arguing its power.
I need some gators.
I'm not arguing its power. It is powerful. But you unleashed are more powerful. You unleashed. I'm not saying I'm right about everything. I dare you to just go I dare you to continue this discussion. I dare you to say, Zoe, I listened to what you said. I don't believe what you're talking about.
I took it to Bishop.
So I went to the bishop. And then the bishop sent me over here. And then I found this book. And then I went over here. And then I started doing some research. And you know what? Some of the shit you said was true. But this other stuff, I don't know. Zoe, can we continue the dialogue? Yes, let's continue. Zoe, do you have any books on this?
It's not going to happen. You know why? Because the bishop going to kill all that because you fucking with his money now. He's going to kill all that. You have to give Zoe up to a reprobate mind. Zoe has been too far into the world, and now he doesn't believe because he's had too much. He's had too much knowledge.
Back to Acts 7:43. Yes. You took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your god Remphan, figures which you made to worship them, and I will carry you away from Babylon. And the star of the god Remphan, the star of the god Remphan is the 6-pointed star. Scientists have just found at the base of the planet Saturn, there is a hexagonal shape at the bottom of Saturn. What the Babylonians, the Canaanites, the Phoenicians, and all of them worship? El. Elect. Elite.
Elder Barge.
Elders.
Eldorado.
The point is the cult of L, which is Saturn. People don't understand, man. Michael, Uriel, Gabriel, Raphael. That is the cult of Saturn. It came from the Egyptians. That's what the Egyptians and the Babylonians called Remphaim. In Hebrew, Kewan. Saturn. Saturday is your Sabbath.
Smell.
So my point is, if you're not doing the research with me, you're not trying to free yourself.
No.
Listen, I could keep going forever and ever and ever. I just want to start the conversation. Jesus and the devil are brothers. They're both called the morning star. One is called the morning star. The other one is called the son of the dawn. What do you mean? Right before the sun rises, you can see Saturn. It used to be the sun at night, the black sun, the black cult.
Black hole sun.
These people don't understand this stuff, man. It's in your book. But if you don't want to study it, oh, that's devil worship, that's this and that. You dumb and blind. And your God power is the fuel that keeps the fantasy alive. So with that said, that's my final thought. I'm done for the day. Veronica, where can they find you, sister girl?
You can find everything Veronica Conway on social media, so Facebook, Instagram. You can email me at veronica@veronicaconway.com. And, of course, blackmastery.com.
Jeffrey?
YouTube, Jeff Brown. Facebook, Jeff Brown. Instagram, all of that, Jeff Brown. Ringtones coming soon, but not before the old heads. The old heads.
Oh, my God.
Soon.
He's still pushing the old heads.
Yes.
There's another book I want you guys to go get. The Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall, master astronomer, as well as Mason. He has a bookstore here in Los Feliz called the Theological Research Society. Some of the oldest, coldest books on this topic in there. I ask people to study, man, because how else are we going to free ourselves? How else are we going to rid ourselves of beliefs that we're not, I always say this, the author of? I want you to truly push yourself. There's another book I want you to get. Astrotheology and Shamanism. Christianity's Pagan Roots, a revolutionary reinterpretation of the evidence. It's important that you get these books. I'm trying to pull it up right now. You'll find it on Amazon.com. Astrotheology and Shamanism by Jan Irving and Andrew Rutajit. Ruta, Rutajit. Astrotheology. Look it up. It's important. I mean, if you really want to learn, let's have a discussion. Okay? I'm not 100% right. Don't claim to be, don't want to be, but I want to be in alignment. Let's get together. Let's challenge each other to know, to study. With that said, I need y'all to support my movement, the Relationship Dismount Book Tour. Crazy. Houston, we getting ready for that. For everybody, please support my movement here. If you want me to get to your town, the Relationship Dismount Book Tour, you can go to paypal.com right now, click send money, and go to zowhatorders@gmail.com. We really need the support if we're going to reach a bunch of cities, a bunch of towns. And by the way, the Relationship Dismount, the book, will be here in a few weeks. My God, it's incredible. In a couple of days, we're going to have the pre-order button set up on the IamZoeWilliams.com website. With that said, I appreciate the discussion today. I hope we can continue it in respect. Let's go deeper into the information. Let's study more and see what we can come up with. I appreciate you all. I'll see you next week. Or, wait, Dash Radio tonight. Dash Radio on the Dash Radio app. You got to download the app. Once you download the app, you go to Hot Button Radio. I'll be there from 5 to 7 p.m. tonight. relationships. The ladies are in there. It's going to be crazy tonight. I appreciate you all. We'll see you next week. Deuces. So what?
You are watching T Radio V, Radio and TV.